Hello, 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 and welcome. I hope you're doing absolutely amazing. I'm not actually exactly sure where this video is going to go today. I'm just going to let it come out as it needs to, but I really want to discuss holding the vision, holding the belief. When you start to make new rules for yourself and your reality, how long it takes and how to hold the vision, how to hold the belief long enough so what you want to create in your reality actually happens. And the reason why I want to talk about this right now, because if I were to look out right now and look at everyone I'm working with right now, everyone is coming into my world, and also my own personal journey in this life, learning everything that I teach. One of the things that most people really underestimate, myself included, is when you start to make new rules, when you want to live life on your terms, when you want to create success on your own terms that feel good for you, that feel in alignment for you, universally, we underestimate what it's going to take. We underestimate the length of time, but we also actually try to solve problems that don't exist. Okay. And I'm going to dive into that. I've never actually said that before, but anyways, this is where we're going, so I'm going to go with it. I know that whatever I'm saying here, somebody needs to hear. Okay. So, if you look at how most of us were brought up, we were brought up to believe this is how you create success. This is how the world works. This is how everything exists, right? Now, the problem is that we weren't taught this is just a belief system that somebody created and cultivated, and it's changed over time and passed on from generation to generation. We weren't taught that. What we were taught is these are the rules. It's it. And if you deviate from those rules, right, the rules of how everything works in this world, you're probably going to fail. You're probably going to lose everything. Like there's a lot of stories about everything that's going to go wrong if you don't follow the rules. That conditioning is so deep. I really am emphasizing this right now because we have to see how deep the conditioning is that if you don't follow the rules, something bad is going to happen to you. Okay. And you know what? I'm going to share something that when I realized this in my life. So I started my personal development journey about 20 years ago. And I say about 20 years ago because I don't know exactly when it started. It's like I started to change my life, and then I at some point became conscious that like I was actually doing this thing. But as you know, there's always these key moments where you shift your reality entirely, right? And I'll never forget this one moment where I looked at my life. I had followed all the rules. I thought I was such a good student of life. Like I really thought, like, I'm nailing this thing with life. I'm going to be so successful. I'm going to be so happy. I'm creating this amazing life. So I followed all the rules, right? I did all the right things. I went to university, got my degree. I became a CPA, an accountant. I was a great worker, super conscientious, responsible. Like I did a great job. I was a great daughter, a great sister, a great wife, a great friend, a great mother. Like you name it. I was freaking nailing life. Followed all the rules, every single rule there was out there. And I thought I was like a rock star. Until I realized I was miserable and I hated my life. And I remember I had this moment where I went, like, I've done everything right. Like I have done everything that I thought was supposed to make me happy and successful. And I was probably around, I'm thinking early 30s, around 33-ish or so. Okay. I'm 54 now. So that's about 20 years ago. And I remember going, I have done everything right. And I'm miserable. Like when I say I was miserable, I was deeply depressed, deeply unhappy. And again, to the outside world, I had it made. Like the image that I had created was beautiful, right? I had everything. If you looked at me, you would have thought, oh my God, she has everything. But I was so empty inside. I was miserable to the point where I actually remember 2 times in a span of a few months, was probably about 2 months actually, where I was driving by myself and I thought to myself, it would be easier just to drive off the side of the road. And I don't actually think I've shared that before publicly, but that's how deeply depressed I was and unhappy with my life. And I had followed all the rules. And I know I was never like truly suicidal at all, but it was one hell of a wake up call. Because it was like, oh my God, Andrea, what? Like, what? You're thinking of actually be easier to drive off the side of the road? And it was the wake up call that I needed to start choosing me, and start making decisions that worked for me, ignoring all the rules of what I was supposed to do. Okay, so from that moment, I left my husband. We sold our house. I didn't have a job because I had been home with my kids. I threw every single rule out the window because it was a wake up call. Like, I can't continue following the rules. And I'm actually really grateful for that time. And the reason I don't really share that story is because one of the big reasons is it doesn't even feel like me anymore. Like, it's so long ago and I was such a different person. But it's a really powerful moment. Like I said, I wasn't ever thinking I would actually follow through, not for a second. And I knew I wouldn't. But it was an acknowledgement to myself. It was like the universe went, girl, this is bad. This is bad. You have to start living your life on your terms. And you've got to listen to your heart. You've got to listen to your soul. And since that time, that's what I've done. And of course, it's stages, right? Layers. The conditioning is deep. And that's why I say this. Because even this happened many years ago and I started this, I'm still unraveling rules that all of a sudden I realize I'm following, right? But what I have realized through this whole journey and recognizing, and maybe you're at that point too, and I would invite you to sit with, how far has following the rules gotten you? Before I talk about what to do, is just ask yourself, like, how far have the rules gotten me? Are you happy? Are you in joy? Because that fear piece can be really big. And that's why I'm grateful for that moment, because it was like I had nothing to lose. Like, I was like, that is the definition of rock bottom. And you've heard many people say over the years, like, rock bottom is actually one of the best places to get to. I don't recommend it. It's not a joyful time. But it's when we can get really clear. And so ask yourself, how much is following all the rules that you've been taught you should be and do, how much is that working for you? And is it time to start choosing your own rules? Create your vision and walk towards it every single day, because that's what I've been doing ever since then. Did not think I would get emotional in this video today, but every single day. To go from that person who contemplated driving off the side of the road to live the life I have now, that's choosing me every single day. And here's the part that I want to really anchor in. Past that moment of you looking at your life and going, is the rules really following you? The world has taught all of us that there is proof everywhere. When you start to follow the rules that society has conditioned, you see proof everywhere. We are so conditioned to look for proof that what you're doing is working. And what I universally know, myself included, is it takes longer than you think it will to see the proof. And I'm going to tell you why it takes longer. I'm not telling you it needs to, because it doesn't. I'm telling you why it maybe has for you. I know it did for me and many of my clients. Because we look for proof. And when we don't see proof that something is working, what we do is we look for what is wrong. We look for what we're doing wrong. We're looking for some other answer outside of us. And so we start looking for an answer. And so what we do is we may try a new strategy, try a new thing. We're looking for the answers. And then we don't get the proof in the time that we think we should get the proof. But remember, you're creating your own rules. How do we know how long the proof is going to take? We actually don't. But the problem is when you follow the rules that we were conditioned to follow, like how to conform and how to fit in and all those things, and go to school, get a degree, get a job, blah 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 blah, do all these things. What we don't realize is there's proof everywhere in other people that it works. So our brain is programmed, is trained to look for evidence that something is working. But what we end up doing when we're following the rules early in life is we find evidence in others that it's working long before we have evidence that it's working in our own lives. You've been trained to look for evidence outside of you. And when you start following your rules, your own rules, you will not have that. And so, like I said, what you end up doing is you're like, okay, it's not working. Somebody else give me the answer, give me the tool, give me the strategy. Why isn't it working? And then you try something new. It doesn't work in the time you believe it should work because you're trained to have evidence much faster. And so you keep changing strategies. You keep looking for answers. And all that's doing is sending out doubt into the universe. It just sends doubt. Your signal and your energetic imprint is doubt, doubt, doubt. Well, you are an energetic being now. I'm going to go into energetic principles, right? The signal you send out is what you get back. So you keep sending out doubt, 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 doubt. Every time you think there's a strategy that you're missing, you create doubt. And that's what delays your manifestation. That's what delays what you want to create in your reality. When I said we create problems where there aren't any, that's what we do. We don't see the evidence in the time we think we should be seeing it. And so we look for what is wrong instead of anchoring down in the belief, like the true belief, like really doubling down in this, like this is working. I'm a master creator. I'm a powerful being. I'm creating everything in my reality and everything is working out for me and everything is going beautifully, blah, 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 blah. Keep going, keep going, keep going, and more and more and more. That's the work. And what we've never taught that's what we needed to do because we never had to. If you're following the old rules, you never had to do that. But that is what you must do now. Instead of looking for all the ways that you're doing this wrong, you need to anchor in the belief that you're actually right exactly where you need to be, doing exactly the right things, listening to your inner guidance. This is why I talk about reclaiming your power, alignment, and I will keep talking about this. Nobody else has a strategy outside of you that's going to work. Listening to your own inner guidance, anchoring the truth of who you are, and believing in yourself like you have never, ever had to believe in yourself before. That's the recipe. Stop looking for what's wrong and start turning inward and looking for what's right and what's right within you and believing in yourself at such a deep and profound level that nothing can shake you. This is what happens when you reclaim your power and you are in alignment with your soul. You cannot create your own reality without reclaiming your power and aligning with your soul. Like if you want to have a life and a career and everything where you're successful and joy, it's the only way. Okay, it's the only way. But this is the work. And it is more work than what most people realize. I'm here to tell you. So I'm going to give you some things that I do all the time to keep myself in the belief, because I had to learn all this too, right? And this is some of the things that I certainly share in my one-on-one when I work with clients, right? Because you have to find your own strategies. So I'm going to give you a couple things that I do, but it's personal. It's going to be what works for you. And the other thing is that what works today may not work tomorrow or the next day. What I find is like a toolkit. You've heard that expression before. You got to have a toolkit of all the strategies that work to help build that belief in yourself and the belief in your way of existing, right? So I'm a numbers person. Okay. So I used to be a CPA. So something that I recognized many, many years ago is you think about it, we are constantly being bombarded with messages, right? How life works. And we are bombarded with things like lack, fear, and scarcity. All you have to do is turn on the news, turn on social media, maybe just head out in the world. And we see a lot of fear, lack, and scarcity, right? But here's the thing. If you think about it, the only way to actually raise your vibration, raise how you're feeling in a moment, is you've got to start to fill your brain, your existence with 51% more positive, more things that are in alignment with where you're moving towards to be able to shift the needle. You need to have 51%. So you need to have more messages of encouragement, of upliftment. And I don't just mean like raw stuff, like actual deep material. And that's why I'm sharing so much on YouTube right now. It's like binge, listen to all of this. You listen to me for a while and you're automatically going to start to raise yourself up. This is why this is here. So what I do, what I've done many times over the years is when I'm up leveling myself, is I will immerse myself in high frequency material that empowers me, brings me up. Think about it though, to tip the scales, you have to get to 51% of what you input each day to the life you're wanting to create. You cannot listen to the news. So that also means stop watching the news. You can be informed, but I hope you're not watching the news still. Do they even do news? I think they still do. I haven't had cable for, I think, oh my God, at least 15 years I haven't had cable. So I don't even know what's on cable TV. But like social media news, like stop listening to the doom and gloom. Stop listening to other people who are in victim consciousness. Like, and if you have to, look at your friendships, look at your relationships. If you've got a bunch of people in your life that are downers and who are staying in victim consciousness, it's going to be really, really hard for you to up level, right? We are all energetically connected. We have to start to really pay attention to all our inputs, friendships, relationships. And of course, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you certainly what I've done. So I had to address all of this, and I continue to address this. I continue to address my relationships. I continue to address who I'm listening to, who I'm allowing to influence me, right? You listen to something, you're allowing it to influence you. So look at it from a perspective of, if I'm listening to this person or watching and having a conversation with or connecting with people, do I want to live like they do? Because if you don't listen to them. And sometimes during this time, it does take some more alone time. I don't actually see how you can do it without spending some more time alone. I don't actually see. Maybe it's possible for some. I've never seen it. But to connect with yourself and what you really want and what you really desire takes a lot of refinement and discernment, and you being really clear and really watching what you input and what you listen to. And there are periods of time where I have had to really concentrate on that. And there are times you really have to really double down. There are days when I've, listened to 2 or 3 hours of something because I've been falling into doubt. And it's okay. And I don't have to do that so much anymore because of where I've gotten. I've been doing this for so long that I don't. When I'm in doubt, I can switch myself really quickly for the most part. We all have our days and our moments, but I can really switch myself and start going into it's that place of everything's working, and it doesn't matter how far along you are in this process. Anytime you up level to something new in your life, it is natural to have some doubt. Totally normal. You can ask the most successful people in this world. Having moments of doubt is completely normal. It's what we do with it. For me, now that I've been doing this work for so many years, I will listen to something. And if I'm not finding that shifts me, I will book a call with a mentor. But there have been periods of time, many times, where I've had mentors for months on end, like 6-month packages of mentorship with amazing humans, because they help me hold my vision. They help me hold it. So if any moment I'm having doubt, they're like a phone call away or like a voice message away, and I can get that support. But we've got to find all the tools. Some days for me, it's exercise. Some days it's like actually just walking away from everything I'm doing and getting a really good workout in, going out in nature. It's all going to depend. But one of the key things is you have to unhook yourself from all the rules, all the programming, anybody who is following sort of the narrative, because that's not where you're going now. You're creating your own life. And it's really about allowing yourself to be influenced by the things around you that are going to uplift you, and then anchoring in who you really are and trusting your own internal guidance system. And I will keep saying this over and over and over again because it is so important. You must choose you. Like I said, I can look back now and I'm so grateful I had that moment, because it was like, Andrea, you have to choose yourself. And I will tell you this. It pissed people off. When I started choosing myself, I got a lot of hate. And when I say hate, I mean hate. I got called nasty names because I was always that person that everyone relied on, everyone came to. I was the responsible one. I carried everybody. I did all the right things. And when I started putting myself as a priority, I got a lot of hate. And it passed, but I stayed anchored and true in who I am. So that's the other part is, not everyone around you is necessarily going to love this. And, you do you. If that's not where you are, that's okay. Turn off this video now, right? But if you really want a life that you love, if you want success on your own terms and you want to lead at that next level, lead yourself first. That sometimes people along the way are not going to be happy with us. And you do you, but I know for me, I'm okay. I'm okay if somebody doesn't like what I'm doing. You have to be. If you want to have a life in your own terms, you have to be okay with people not liking your decisions. People calling you crazy, people calling you ridiculous, people calling you whatever. And I have been called every name in the book. Selfish, you name it. I have been called every name in the book. So you just have to decide, is this what I want for myself? Is this what I choose? And what I can tell you, and I'm just going to share this, my own personal journey here, is it is worth it. Because as I always say, there is no path in life that is ever without challenge. Let's just say without challenge. It's part of the human experience. We don't ever get a path that is without conflict, that is without struggle. But are those challenges and struggles taking you to somewhere better? Or are they keeping you in a loop? That's the $1 million question. I'm okay with struggle and challenge if it's taking me to a greater place, and it always has. I am not okay with struggle and challenge that keeps me in a loop. That sucks. That's not getting me anywhere. That's exhausting. So that's a powerful shift that you can start to look at. Are the challenges you're having right now in your life, are they keeping you in a loop, or are they taking you to a better place? And only you can answer that, right? All right, beautiful soul. I'm going to put also the link down below if you're looking for a one-on-one call with me, since I mentioned it here, and you are stuck somewhere in how to move yourself forward, where you may be out of alignment. I'm going to put the link down for a 1-hour call with me. I also just released my masterclass, which I love, called The Power of Alignment. This is almost 2 decades of information in a just over an hour training session. There's so much in there. Alignment is, there's no words for it sometimes. There honestly is no words for it. The truth is we've been taught how to align with our egos, and that's what keeps us in a hamster wheel as well. And this masterclass is all about like aligning with your soul, aligning with your true essence, aligning with the truth of who you really are and what you came here to be and do. So I'll also put that link down below. All right, beautiful soul, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.